Okay. Welcome, Pops. How are you today?
I am a lot of things. Uh, Many of them excellent, some of them challenging. Let's say really good or good. Anyway, how about you?
I'm doing pretty well.
Let's say really good. Are you still playing with getting this thing happening?
I'm just getting some feedback
Anyway,
here.
how about you?
Just a moment. I'm getting some feedback here.
Are you still playing with getting this thing happening? So while you're doing it, why don't I just say some words so that the people are not just watching you looking around trying to get something fixed.
Great.
So, everyone, anyone, all of us, here we are. An old Osho song. All you're doing. Ah, this, ah, this, ah, this, ah, this, ah, this, ah, this. Oh. Here we are, here we are, here we are, here we are. Ah, this. Which actually is one of my favorite songs. I mean, I sing it and play guitar, but because it really is an anchor to the present moment, bringing us back to ourselves, bringing ourselves back to the present moment. Are you with us now, Raj?
I am.
All right. So, what do you want to talk about?
We're going to talk about love.
All right. Give that one a lot of thought and have some experience of it.
So, yeah, there's a lot of, you know, common pop thoughts about love and, different levels, romantic love, familial love, just love in general. And I thought we'd dig in a little bit to hear your perspective on what love is, its relationship to awareness.
Okay.
Yeah,
When I was in eighth grade, which is more than a few years ago, there was a popular song called "What Is Love." And it's what is love? 5 feet of heaven in a ponytail, which I discovered was not entirely true. As I've gone through life, Osho said, you don't know anything about love. You know about desire, you know about attachment, you know about need, but you don't know about love because you're all in your heads all the time. And love doesn't happen in your heads. We develop patterns to act as if we are being loving. I mean, so many of us develop, okay, I got to be more loving. So we develop a style that looks more loving, but it's coming from our heads. Although even that's better than nothing because if you, what is I going to say? Fake it till you make it. Love is a good thing. If it's really, fake it, but be aware. Be aware that you're faking it because otherwise you just live in faking it. Then you have never a chance to get into love. Real love. What is real love? Love, love is a state of being. According to Osho, everything in existence, except for our minds, is composed entirely of love. Love is what is. Love is everything. That's what, and anybody, he also said that love is awareness and awareness is love. The only thing stopping us from living in love is our identification with the mind, our inability to be simply present in our hearts, present to love. We talk about love and our hearts. That's a metaphor, of course, because our heart is a mechanism. But we mean the heart chakra, the feeling of love. Love actually has a vibration. There is a love vibration that happens in our heart chakra. But mostly we're in our head chakra, so we don't have access to our heart chakra, to that vibration. So anything we can do that brings us more in touch to that chakra, that vibration, will increase our capacity for love. Which is what, in a very common sense, we all talk about it all the time. Oh, can you please? I mean, I want to talk to you from the heart, or can you talk to me from your heart, or I can't feel your heart, or you don't have any heart, you motherfucker, or anything in that range. We all have the same heart. We all have the same chakra with the vibration. It is our access to the vibration that defines whether we're experiencing it or not. So, any practice that helps us do that will help us to experience love. Love is like chocolate in the sense that if I say chocolate to you, you'll have an idea, you'll have a concept, and you'll have had an experience. But the word won't be chocolate, it'll be a memory as you think about it. When I say love to you, you get an idea of love. And you may have a memory of having felt it in the past. And you may, in fact, like you and I love each other, we may be feeling it right now. My heart is open to you. So I'm feeling you right now. And our shared love actually it really allows me to do this because, or at least helps me a great deal to do this because when I speak to you, when I'm connected to you, my heart opens because I love you like a son, even more than a son because I'm not responsible for you or different than a son anywhere. Anyway, so that's the deal to come back again and again to our heart space. I put my hand over my heart all the time. Not all the time, I mean recurrently, regularly, often. My hand over my heart to bring my attention to that heart space. We talk about the heart space, and it is, it's space, it's a vibration in a space, in time and beyond time. And when we connect to that, the more we can connect to it, the more we connect to it, the more that energy can literally fill us up and spill over. And it's palpable. You can actually let it's like you can't really touch the love. It's like you're moving around inside something. But you're allowing the love to touch you, allowing the love to inhabit you. And the more you allow that, the more you have that experience, the more we become accustomed to the safety of that experience, to the beauty, the profundity of that experience. And it helps us get over the fear we have of being in our heart, which has been conditioned in us from very, very early. When we're born, we're totally heart, man. We don't have any words, don't have any mind. We're love. We are love. An infant is just love. Now, what happens right away? An infant gets out of the womb. We've been fed for 9 months, no problem whatsoever, no concept of being fed. And he gets out of the womb, she gets out of the womb. And in 30 seconds or a minute, very, very quickly, minutes, the child gets, I'm going to die. They don't have words for it but they have the understanding, I'm going to die. Because they don't have food. They don't have that nutrient they've had. So what do? They scream. They learn to scream very, very early, as soon as they come out of the womb, right? Because we slap them on the butt. I don't think they do that anymore, but they used to. But kids learn to scream pretty quickly because it's the only thing they can do when they're not getting fed. And that just doesn't last. So they are, they have that experience of, I'm going to die. And that generates fear, terror. That's the first emotion. So quickly after they're born, the first emotion they experience after being total love is total fear. And then they get identified with that fear and they stay in that fear until they find a way out of it, if they ever do. And most of us never, ever do, because instead we learn coping mechanisms to cover over the fear. Our whole life is a coping mechanism. We go to school, we try to be good so our parents won't smack us around or do whatever. When we get disciplined, we behave well according to the teachers so we won't get in trouble. Our whole life is about fear of bad shit happening. Now, as children, we still have that balance. You see little kids play, and it's so beautiful, It's so beautiful. They can still access that. But when they get triggered, they go into a fear that is so profound, beyond anything we feel, because we've learned to suppress and repress it our whole fucking lives. And as we grow up, we compartmental our lives. We forget how to dance all the time. We forget how to play all the time. Life becomes serious business. And we lose our joy. We don't lose our fear. Serious fear and serious are brothers and sisters, if not first cousins. Seriousness arises out of fear. If we didn't have fear, we wouldn't have seriousness. Because what does serious mean? I got to do something. And that essentially always arises out of fear. I got to do something. Or something bad's going to happen. Or I won't get something I want, which is just desire. So, how does that sound?
Great. uh, so many of those things. I was like, yep, experienced that this morning. Uh-huh. It's only been whatever, 5 hours of daylight, and I've been through the ringer. All the things, got to do something, something bad's gonna happen. And I notice, and I'm sure this is a common experience, that I get upset with myself. That's kind of my go-to. Uh,
Yeah.
and so could you say a little bit about how self-love plays into the whole equation of love and our ability to love others, and can we even love
The thing
others?
you said that really hit me, Raj, the thing you said that really hit me was something like, I can't remember. My short-term memory is getting worse and worse. You said something about, how do I get out of it? Did you say that?
Uh, I don't recall saying that.
Well, go
Uh,
say something else and I'll jump
yeah,
in.
okay. Well, I was just talking about the relationship between self-love and the role that plays in the overall love equation. Uh,
I'm sorry, can you speak? I'm
sure.
listening to my computer.
Yeah.
Speak a little
Uh,
more clearly.
I was just talking about the role of self-love in the equation of love.
Did you say tough love?
Self.
Self-love.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I just noticed that my go-to is to get upset with myself when, as
Sure.
kind of my
Sure.
reaction to fear. Uh, and I will drive myself through upset and anger and,
Okay.
you
Let me,
know,
let
self.
me, let me, you talked about getting angry at yourself.
Yeah,
Where did you learn to do that? How did you learn to do that?
good question. How did I learn to do that?
Try this on because people are listening and we got to move it along.
Yeah.
Try this on. It's because you couldn't get angry at anybody else
Mhm.
because you were told that you were inadequate. You were disciplined if you tried to talk back, and you were told you were no good. You were told if you were just smarter, more competent, or a better boy, whatever, then all would be well. So you learn to judge yourself the same way they judge you. You learn to judge yourself the same way they did and find yourself totally inadequate. Then you get pissed off at yourself because you believe them and you're totally inadequate. And that's how self loathing starts, which is something from which essentially everybody suffers, more or less. It's that whole deal, which, of course, I mean, that's the conditioning, which is really the value of, we've done a lot of work together and you have done a lot of work with your early life conditioning, right?
Right.
You understand it much better than you did when you started, right?
Yep. Hmm.
So for everybody out there, if you do that work, you get a better handle on it. And it's still such a deep identification that the work is essentially endless. That's the bad news. Good news is it has value and there is change. And if you don't do it, you stay where you are, stuck, stuck. As my old friend Bim Coyle used to say, wherever you go, there you
There you are.
are.
Yeah, that's been particularly highlighted with Gabby and I spending the last year and a half pretty much living in different places for months at a time. And it's great at the beginning, and I'm always looking forward to the next thing after the first few weeks of being in one place. Because here I am again. There's been no clearer evidence of of that, wherever you go, there you are,
Yeah.
than in this last year and a half.
Let's
Uh,
explore that one. It's interesting. You get into a place, it's great, and then over a short period of time, it's not great. Now, did the place change or did you change? Did your attitude toward the place change or did the place itself change? Or both?
Attitude. The
Attitude,
place is the
exactly.
place. Nothing really changes in the place.
Exactly. See, we live in fucking hope. We live in fucking hope. We're in this new place, like, oh, this is cool. I like this. I can be happy here. And then over a relatively short period of time, we find out, well, this isn't it. This is definitely not it. Because we're seeing everything. We don't recognize it, but we're seeing everything through the prism of our conditioning. We see everything through the window of our conditioning. And that window is dirty, my brother. That window is marked up with all sorts of stuff. So we're seeing through our fear, we're seeing through our anger, we're seeing through our anxiety. And then we feel that. We feel it in our body. We've learned that. I mean, that's one of the hardest things, isn't it? Feeling that anxiety in your body. The thought is bad, but it's really that feeling of, oh my God. And it becomes pervasive, it becomes habitual. So we distract ourselves, we do what we do. But then when we're triggered just this little bit, somebody touches us, touches that space, and we're like, "Mm."
Yes. Um, so do you have some practices to, you know, increase our, or I don't know what the right word is, but to cope with this tendency to not love ourselves first and
Yeah, I do. You know, I don't know if I probably told the story before because it's one of my favorites. A young man goes to this mystic who's sitting on the beach and says, I've been studying with you for a while, and I'm still so anxious. I'm still so triggered. What should I do? And the master doesn't say anything. He gets up and he writes in the sand in big letters, MEDITE. And the guy reads it and he goes, "Oh, yeah, I'm meditating. I'm doing the stuff you talked about. I'm meditating, but I'm still anxious. What should I do? I mean, what can I do?" So the master gets up and he writes in bigger letters in the sand, MEDITE. And the young man says, "I know you're saying this now, and I understand. I'm still doing it, and blah, blah, blah. But I'm still anxious, It's just so hard. What should I do?" So the mystic writes in really big letters in the sand, MEDITE. So, what is meditation? What is that practice? Because the bad news is it's all we got. Osho said he felt like a doctor with only one, a phony doctor with only one medicine, because he said, "You come to me with this, you come to me with that, come with this, come with that." And I listen, and I nod, and I give you the only medicine I have, which is meditation. Meditation itself is not a practice, it's a state. The state of meditation is a state of being present, simply present, beyond the mind, beyond emotions, just present. Although we can also be present to emotions, we can be present to the mind, we can be present to whatever is around us. If we're totally present, we are present to whatever is coming. Coming through is there. That's what present is. Just we're present to whatever is there. That's a state of meditation. What we do, and what the guy was talking about, is our meditation practices. And I've developed a couple of practices. And again, understand, uh, it's not like I am some brilliant mystic out of which this stuff emerged. It's that I have really worked at it. I've studied hypnosis and self hypnosis and NLP and meditation and all this stuff for a lot of years. And I found a couple of practices I developed a couple of practices that are based on NLP, basically. Uh, for bringing ourselves back out of the mind. Bring ourselves back out of the mind. Can we just sit quietly for a couple of minutes?
sure.
Thanks. I get wound up behind this stuff and I need to. It's the only thing I'm interested in. And if somebody is ostensibly prepared to listen, I go a little nuts. At least I get into a lot of energy. I don't go a little nuts. I get into a lot of energy. So, can you remember one of the practices that I've taught you?
There's a
One
uh,
that's worked for you at all?
uh, breath exercise where you're breathing in, I don't know, the kind of negative energies and exhaling love and compassion. And I
Mm,
can't remember what that meditation is called.
mm. So let's do that one.
Okay.
So just close your eyes, and anybody out there who's interested. Now, this, by the way, sure you should know, is not particularly a trigger for getting back into it. It's a way to establish it. When you find yourself anxious, this is just something when you find yourself anxious. So if you make a note, like I usually or often have a note in front of my computer saying anxious question mark. And then I do one of these, and this is one of them. So close your eyes. This is a classic meditation. It's called the meditation of Atisha, who was a Chinese mystic maybe 1,000 or so years ago. And it starts like this. Just notice your breathing. Notice your breathing in whatever form, however your breathing is happening, just tune into your breathing. Just notice your breathing, however it is. And that is the first thing to do if you find yourself anxious. Bring your attention back to your breath, very simply. Just by bringing your attention back to your breath will change, I promise you. Because when you bring your attention to the breath, you're disidentifying from the mind and identifying with your breath. Even for a moment, it goes back to the mind, whatever. You just bring your attention back to the breath. And just by bringing your attention back to the breath, the mind, you disidentify some from the mind starts to slow down, and you're more in your body, you're more present. That's a first step, which is tremendously helpful, even if you don't do anything else. Just bring your attention to your breath and then notice your breath. Just be with your breath and let it be however it wants to be. And give it a couple of minutes and notice how it changes. If you give it longer, it will change more. Slow down. Your energy, your being will change more. Your whole being is connected to your breath. Then the practice is bring in breath, and while you're bringing in breath, breathe into your heart chakra, right in the middle of your chest, right in the middle of your chest. Just breathing into that heart chakra. Breathe in. I'm going to make it personal. Breathe in all your pain. Breathe in all your challenges, all your difficulties, all your sadness, all your sorrows. Just let yourself breathe in all of that pain that is there in you as much as you can in that moment. And don't think about whether you're doing it right or at all. Just have the intention to breathe in that pain into your heart. Fear, pain, all of that. Breathe it. The pain of fear. Just breathe it into your heart. And breathe out blessings. Just breathe out blessings. The fact is, breath without mind is breathing out blessings. So breathe in, but imagine what it would feel like to breathe out blessings. Somebody's there you love, and you want to breathe out blessings toward them. So you're breathing in all of your pain, all of your suffering, and breathing out blessings to yourself and anyone else you love. Breathing, breathing in pain. Breathe out blessing. Not fast, not controlled a lot, but just as easily and gently as you can. Breathe in pain. Breathe in deeply as is comfortable. Breathing in pain. Breathing in your pain. And then breathing out blessings. Breathing out blessing. Breathing in pain. Breathing in pain. Breathing out blessings. Breathing out blessing. Breathing in pain. Breathing in pain. Breathing out blessings. Breathing out blessing. So do it a couple times on your own. Now continue doing that, but even a little more slowly. And notice the in-breath. Notice the out-breath. And notice at the beginning and at the end of each breath, there's just a little point where you're not breathing in and you're not breathing out. It's just presence. In that moment between the in-breath and the out-breath and the in-breath, there's just presence. Just presence. And that presence is your very nature. The body is not your nature. The mind is not your nature. Your most fundamental nature is simply consciousness being conscious. Consciousness being aware of consciousness. Consciousness being aware of itself. Awareness of awareness. Simple awareness of awareness. In that moment, that's what presence is. Presence is awareness being aware of itself. It is the fundamental nature of existence. Awareness, consciousness. Underlying everything else, there is a vast consciousness in emptiness and in silence. And that is our birthright. That is our beingness. That is our home beyond any home. And that sense is our homeness. And that is love. And that is awareness. The ever expanding love and the ever expanding awareness, endless, silent, rich, and full of life. I love you, Raj.
Love you too, Pops. That was great.
I love you all.
Thank you so much, Pops, for the conversation today and the practices to bring
I want to
yourself
close
back.
with that because people, I'm going to repeat this a bunch of times. Namaste is such a beautiful thing. This gesture is a gesture of namaste. And namaste means in ancient Sanskrit that the divine which is within me acknowledges the divine that is within you. And if you can actually remember that from time to time, just recognize it as you're looking at people. And you look at little kids, you look at people in love, you look at people in pain, but in a space where it's not threatening to you, and you just can tune into that. Namaste. The love that is within me acknowledges the love that is within you. Or even more correctly, the love that is me recognizes the love that is you.
Namaste, Pops.
Thanks, kid.
All right, that is our session for today. If you have any questions, feel free to post them on the Consciousness Conversations Facebook page. And we look forward to seeing you next week.